Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the farm. So seeding is done and we are fast forwarding. Look, it's probably been a week and a half since I picked up the camera, but we're sort of gone straight out of the tractor, had a short break. We're already into grass freeing legumes and spreading urea on some barley. Now the barley is only eensy weensy at the moment, about 3 leaf stage, but because the wheat crops were so big last year, there'll be very little nitrogen in the soil, and we don't double shoot, so we can't put a lot of fertilizer down the tubes with the seed. So we're going hard early this year, getting some urea on, getting some nitrogen, because last year, well, it didn't rain for ages and we couldn't get the urea on, and then we kind of missed the boat and it went on a little bit late and it didn't do its job as well as it could. So we're getting it on nice and early this year. We got pretty strong chance of rain coming up over the next week, so smashing her on, getting it done. So yeah, we are up fairly early this morning trying to race the wind, because it's been a bit of a windy old week. We haven't had much of a window to do anything that we want to do, so just trying to make the most of this morning, because by about 9:30 I think the winds are supposed to be up, getting up towards like 25-30 k's an hour, and then until it rains on Saturday. Today is Saturday's tomorrow, so I think it's Friday the 16th today. So when it rains, until it rains, there's not really another window to get out and do any spreading or anything. So get done what we can now, and then we'll just sit back and see what the weather brings us. I need to do something about that mirror arm up there, because it just taps away on the exhaust there, and it's quite irritating, to be honest. Now it's kind of interesting getting out over the top of this barley now and having a good look at how it's germinated, what weeds have come up, because if you watched the channel you would have seen I did a video, the art of seeding barley and praying for 5mm of rain, and I came out here and it was pretty dang dry seeded this, germinated probably about a week later when we had 7.5mm of rain. But I am shocked at how clean the paddock looks, and by clean I mean lack of weeds. Don't get me wrong, there's ryegrass out here, there'll be plenty of it, but for where we're at now, the barley's way up and away and the ryegrass is very minimal. I'm genuinely surprised. So that's a good result, and the barley's going to compete really, really well against it, and the only thing I can put it down to is the fact that we just haven't had the rain. We just have not had a huge amount of rain to really get the weeds going, so I guess the plan's kind of worked in a way, and like I said, the barley's up and away and it's going to compete a lot harder now and do a lot better against any weeds that germinate from now onwards. And so ultimately what that means, if we come to spring and it's dry, this crop is a good 2 to 3 weeks ahead of where it would have been if I had sat back, waited for a rain, and then came in, did a weed knockdown and then seeded it. And also, since we had that rain, weather has not been favourable for doing things like spraying. So we've had a lot of wind and stuff like that, and it just makes it really hard to get into the paddock. So pretty happy with the decisions that we've made. It's just kind of up to Mother Nature now to see how much moisture we're going to get through the year and what we're going to have come November. So we'll see. So I got started grass freeing yesterday. I got this paddock here done and another one up the back road. So it's nice to have made a start, because some of these paddocks are in desperate need of the grass to spray it out already. That's a job that's been needing to have been done for a little while. They're starting to get pretty low. Now we'll just repeat that for the other side. Now never forget to pump up your brake pedal after you're done. Otherwise you start driving and you got no brakes. And a quick brake fluid check just to make sure the levels are alright after that. And it clearly needs a top up. Rightio, we might as well take this thing for a quick test drive and check the quality of the workmanship. Plus I got a couple of things to pick up in town, and then on the way back I can show you guys what's happened over the last week and a half, 2 weeks since we finished seeding. Come on, seatbelt. There we go. But all I can say, guys, is it is just really nice to be finished seeding, being able to take a bit of a breath and, you know, get on top of some of those jobs that you've been meaning to do, or things that have been put on the back burner, and just have a bit of a rest. It's nice. It just clears the mind. Oh, there's no problem with those brakes. They're definitely working. Package acquired. All right, guys, just a really quick scoot around. This is the barley. The barley all went in really early, and it's germinated. It's up. It's looking great. This has had 100 kilos of urea already put across it. You can see some urea sitting down there, so we're expecting some rain tomorrow night to wash that in. But overall, yeah, this stuff's looking really good. Sorry about the wind if you're catching all that wind noise, but very happy with how this is all looking. So the canola's looking really good after it's germinated after 7.5 mil of rain, and then it sat there for a good probably 20 days without any moisture. It hung in there, and it's looking really nice. This has had 100 kilos of ammonium sulfate spread on it, so that should get washed in nicely with this next bit of rain. Just ignore all the volunteer wheat and grasses in here. So this paddock really needs to be grass free now, and the reason is you just can't use as much of the grass free chemicals on canola as you can on some of the other crops, so you got to get in there pretty early and do it. So this is definitely due to be done. And I'm not even going to hop over the fence, but that's the earliest seeded wheat in there, but it's looking great. Germinated really well. It's flying along. No complaints there. Hell, even the last of the wheat, the last paddy that was sown, is now out of the ground. So you can see that there, she's up and away. And last of all, the beans. The beans are up and away, and it's no secret the ones that found the moisture early and the ones that didn't, right here under this heavy stubble, they got up early and they're looking great. And then you come over here and they're still just slowly poking their head out of the ground. Not quite as much moisture there where the ground was a bit barer, and that's just the patchy start that we had. But look, overall, to have beans up at this stage now like this is great. So yeah, like overall it's amazing what we were able to do with such limited patchy moisture to start the year. Just little bits and pieces, but I tell you, that little bit is enough to just get things going, so that when you get that bigger rain, things are just bolted. Everything's just flown out the ground, and you know, we've had really, like, it has not been wet here at all. I think we've had 110 millimeters of rain for the year or something like that, but we've had very favourable growing conditions. That's what's been the benefit of late. So we've had no frost, and for the start of winter it's been very mild. So it's just really helped things get going. Just my adjustable hammer. Okay guys, so since that last clip where we were doing a bit of a look around at the crops and everything, we ended up getting about 7.5 mil. There's been a few showers blowing through today as well, so it's been a bit of a wet, sort of miserable day. It hasn't amounted to too much. Like I said, only about 7.5 mil all up, I think. But tomorrow we have one day. We have one day where the wind is dropping off. There's no showers of rain expected, so we're going to be going crazy spreading tomorrow. We'll finish off the barley. We want to do another application, or well, an application of urea to the canola as well. So out the way, because we are expecting some more showers of rain Wednesday and Thursday, and tomorrow's about the only day where the wind's going to be alright for spraying. So it's going to be a big day tomorrow. We've got to get organised for that. And talking about spraying, actually, I might go over the road now and check the water over in the tank over at the spray shed, because I guarantee you I need water over there at the moment. But yeah, I have reconnected up to the spreader, greased it, sort of checked everything. That should be pretty well right to go. I've got a little bit of fertiliser in the truck that I want to get out, and I'll put that in the spreader. There's a little bit of DAP in there, and there's a bit of urea, so we'll just shandy that in there and we'll get rid of that out on the last of the barley tomorrow. So we'll do that. I might just nip out to barley too and see if the last of the crop's coming up out there. It's always a little bit behind here, it takes a bit longer to come up, and if it is, then yeah, it'll be time to clean out the air seeder and get that all packed away. I think these tanks over here are pretty well empty, but there might be a little bit in there that I'll transfer out first. Oh, there's actually quite a bit in that one. Not a lot in there. And this is the problem when you're not connected to mains water. You're constantly transferring water all the time, never ending. It's starting to rain again, so it might be time for a quick drive, because I don't want to transfer that fertiliser while it's raining. Well, it looks like even the last of the wheat is finally starting to come up. Things are always a bit slower out here, unfortunately, but it's starting to finally poke its head through, which I guess now I've got no excuse other than to clean the air seeder out. Well, there was a little bit more water in there than I thought. But I think I still need to pump some over from the big machine shed over there, just to make sure I got plenty tomorrow. I'll set myself a timer so I don't forget that's pumping. That there is the third flat tyre this bar has had this seeding. So Goodyear tyres. Good for about a year, pretty well. They're absolute rubbish. It's quite annoying because you got to get it out of the air seeder into the truck, and that there unfortunately doesn't reach the truck, so it's got to go in the loader into the truck and then back into a bin. That's my alarm for the water pumping, so we're going to have a look and see how full that tank is, I guess. I think we could have another hour yet. That's still got a little bit to go. Well, that should be a nice little drop, hopefully. Once again, it's not a big rainfall forecast, and we just have not had one decent rainfall forecast this year. We've got very, very lucky on some smaller rainfall forecasts, and we've sort of managed to get enough to get us going and get us by. But it'd be nice to start to see the numbers creeping up a little bit, just to give you a little bit of confidence. But yeah, that is cleaned out now. Well, it's the grain and the fertilizers out of it, but that's ready for a wash down, a clean out, get put back in the shed, a grease and an inspection and all that sort of thing. So that's nice. I never ever rush to clean this thing out until I know most of the crops are up and everything's looking all right, just in case, because you never know. You never know when these things happen. So no point in rushing and then having to get it back out the shed or something like that. But anyway guys, I'm going to leave this video here. That's all I got for you today. As I said, we got a big day tomorrow, spreading and spraying before that next lot of rain that we got on the forecast. So thank you all for stopping by. Thanks for joining me. Have a good one.